Hello and welcome to day 7. So you're a week in, crazy. How has it been going? Have you been enjoying it? So today we bring you a 30-minute class, not too long, and we're going to be working on a little bit of leg balances and also opening up into the hips and maybe finding a little bit some deeper poses in some flexibility poses. So let me know in the comments below how you get on with potentially the straddle splits, if you love it, if you hate it. And also don't forget to share on any social media that you might have. And hope you enjoyed this class, and I'll see you back on the mat. So we're going to start in a seated position today. Cross-legged, if that's okay for your hips and your knees, or if this is a little too uncomfortable for you, any comfortable seated position you find yourself in. And if you want, you can either sit on a pillow or something just to elevate your hips a little higher. And then we'll just rest our hands on top of our knees and then close our eyes. Making sure we're not hunched over, rounding our spine, but we're rolling the shoulders up to the ears, down the back, reaching the crown of the head up tall, really lengthening out that spine. And starting to notice the breath. It might be just a nice shallow breath coming in and out. We'll just keep the mouth closed and keep the breath coming in and out through the nose. And starting to deepen the breath now. Big inhale through the nose. Letting the breath go all the way down into the belly. And then exhale out the nose. Releasing it all out. And again, inhale through the nose. Filling the lungs up, and exhale, release. Just one more, so we're really in tune with that breath. Inhale, and exhale. Gently opening the eyes. From here, we'll start to draw some big circles with that body, with the chest. Slowly getting into those hips a little bit. As we inhale, we come forwards. And as we exhale, we rock back. We'll go clockwise, just one more time. And then our next inhale, we'll take it the other direction, anti-clockwise. Inhaling as we come forwards. Exhale as we go back. Just a couple more. And then slowly coming back through center, just working a little bit into that spine, finding our seated cat-cows. We inhale, pull our hands against our knees, puff our chest forwards, lift our chin, draw the shoulders back. And as we exhale, we round the spine, tucking the chin. And again, inhale, rock forwards, lifting the chin. Exhale, rocking back, rounding the spine, finding space between the shoulder blades. And just one more time, inhale, coming forwards, lifting. And exhale, rounding. And then coming back to that nice long spine, reaching up. We're going to extend the right leg out wide, just keeping that left knee in. We find ourselves, that right leg is out straight, finding those hips a little bit open now. And we inhale, lift the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, turn the torso to face that straight leg, and we forward fold down over that right leg. Folding down, reaching over. From here, our next inhale, we're going to sweep across nice and low towards the ground, all the way over to the left-hand side as we plant that left hand down behind that left hip. Press into the hand and that knee to lift the hips up, push them forwards, and then we can open our chest towards the ceiling. Inhaling here, feeling this open expansion. And then exhale, bringing that hip back down. And then we'll sweep the arms across nice and low against the ground, folding over that straight leg once again. We'll go 2 more times. Inhale, sweeping across nice and low. Plant the hand down, lift the hips, open the body towards the ceiling. Big long inhale as we do that. And then a big long exhale as we lower the hips down. Slowly sweep across, folding once again. 1 more time. Inhale, sweeping across. Plant the hand, lift the hips, open. And exhale, lower the hips. Sweeping all the way across, folding down. You may notice you're feeling a little bit closer towards that leg. And then our next inhale, rocking back up through center. And we'll switch out the leg. So just gently bringing that right knee in and then extending that left leg out wide. Opening through the hips already. And then inhale, we lift the arms up overhead. Finding space in the spine. And then we turn the torso over that straight leg first. Use the core. And then fold down over the left leg. Going for those sweeping motions, we inhale, sweep nice and low, all the way to the ground. Plant the right hand this time as we lift the hips up. Open the body towards the ceiling. Exhale, closing the hip back down. Sweeping all the way back across, folding over that left leg. And again, inhale. All the way over to the right, we lift the hips, open the body up. Big long exhale as we lower the hips, sweeping all the way back across 1 more time. Inhale, sweeping across. Lift the hips, open. And exhale, lower the hips, folding down over that straight leg. Maybe noticing a little bit closer. And then our next inhale, rocking all the way up through center. And then from here, I want you to then take the right leg out wide. So we find ourselves in a straddle, which is a wide-legged seated position. Just making sure that our knees aren't rolling in, but they're actively rolling out. So those feet are rolling out. If you may notice that your legs might be a little closer together, that's okay. But then wherever we are, rolling those feet out wide, we inhale, lift the arms up overhead. And then we're going to side stretch over towards that right leg. We're taking the right hand down towards that right leg, and the left arm reaches up and over. Finding a side body stretch. Again, checking in, those knees aren't falling in. Reaching a little bit further over towards that right hand side. And then our next inhale, using that core, we lift ourselves all the way back up through center, reach the arms up tall. And then our exhale, reaching over towards the left, making sure our body's not closing down, but we're rolling that top shoulder back, so we're opening the chest out towards the side. Reaching over that left leg. Again, checking in, those feet and those knees aren't rolling in. Inhale here. Exhale, reach a little bit deeper. And then our next inhale, coming all the way back up, use that core to lift ourselves up. And then as we exhale, I want you to circle the arms all the way back behind us, planting the hands just behind the hips. And then just gently, the fingertips can point towards the back, so they're not pointing towards the body. And then just gently press the hands into the mat, and that's going to roll the body forwards, pushing that chest forwards. And you can notice if you start to walk the hands a little bit closer towards the body, finding yourself forward, folding over. And this might be just enough, and we can stay here, or you can take the arms out in front, finding more of a fold forwards. If you want to take a little bit further, you can walk the hands out a little bit. Reaching out. And don't take it too far just yet. Just find that little point where you're feeling the stretch, but it's not uncomfortable or painful. Just gently working in to those hips. And then our next inhale, walking the hands back up through center. Taking a hold of the backs of the knees to bring one knee up at a time, nice and slowly. And then from here, we're going to cross over at the ankles, roll over the shins, and then we'll find ourselves in our tabletop position. We can take ourselves to that middle of the mat now. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Finding our cat-cows, we inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest. Exhale, rounding the spine. Then again, inhale, scoop the belly down, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, press the hands into the mat, finding space in those shoulder blades. One more time, inhale. And exhale to round. And then from here, going back to that flat back, planting the hands down, the fingers spread out. We tuck the toes under, press through the hands and the feet to lift the knees, lift the hips, finding our first downward dog. Just here, having a little bend in the legs first, lengthening out the spine, making sure the feet are hip distance apart. You're not hunched up in the shoulders. Got that nice flat back. And if you want, you can slowly start to straighten the legs, encouraging those heels a little bit deeper down towards the mat. But we don't want to compensate for rounding our spine, keeping that back nice and long. Inhale here, we're going to rock forwards, find our high plank position, squeeze the core. And as we exhale, we take the hips up and back, finding our downward dog. Moving with the breath, inhale, shifting forwards. And exhale, take it back. One more time, inhaling forwards. And exhale, downward dog. From here, we're going to walk the hands towards the feet. So taking the hands all the way towards the back of the mat. So we find ourselves in a forward fold at the back of the mat. Feet hip distance apart, little bend in the legs, and just hang the body over, releasing the neck, swaying the body side to side. Arms are heavy. Big breath in, and big breath out. And then from here, we're going to roll up to standing, bending into the legs, rolling through each vertebrae of the spine. The head comes up last. As we get to the top, we roll the shoulders up towards the ears, down the back, palms facing forwards, finding our mountain pose at the back of the mat now. Shifting perspective, inhale here. And exhale to stay. From here, we're going to work a little bit on a leg balance, which is tree pose. So I want you to start to take the weight into that left foot, and you can come onto the right toes. So already taking the weight into that left foot, and then focusing on something in front of us here. I want you to start to turn that right knee, I'm going to face you, turn that right knee just out towards the side. So already starting to open that hip a little bit here. And then from here, you can just start to place that foot on the inside of that left leg. And from here, you can just stay this is your tree pose and working with balance a little bit. Or you can either slide that foot a little bit higher up the leg to wherever you want to take it. And if you want to take it a little bit further, you can take a hold of the right ankle and then slide or bring that foot all the way up towards the top of the leg. And if you actively press that heel into the thigh, that inner thigh, it'll help with that stability to keep that foot where it is. So focusing on something in front of us, you can either have your arms out wide, you can bring them together at the chest, or you can even take them up overhead. Feeling this strong growing tree. Inhaling here, feel that stability in that left foot gripping into the mat. And then slowly in your own time, releasing that foot back down, giving the feet a little bit of a walk through, shaking them out. And then we'll go through it on the other side. Taking the weight now onto that right foot, already feeling that foot grounding down into the earth. And then we turn that left knee out towards the side, and again, we can just place that foot on the inside of that leg. We find our tree pose here. And if you want, you can take a hold of that ankle and slide that foot as high as you want to take it. But if you actively press that heel into the inner thigh, it might help keep that foot there, not feeling it slipping down all the time. Strong core, strong supporting leg. Focusing on something in front of us, and again, you can reach the arms up overhead. Growing the tree, feeling tall and strong. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly bringing that foot back down. Walking through the feet once again. Those feet are hip distance apart. We're going to inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold down. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins, finding a flat back. And then as we exhale again, bending into the legs and then walking those hands one by one all the way back out to our downward facing dog. Just checking the distance between our hands and our feet. We inhale, rock forwards, find our high plank once again. Shoulders over the wrists, you may need to shimmy the feet back a little bit. And then exhale, take the hips up and back, downward dog. From here we inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, step the foot to the outside of the right hand. Squeezing that right knee and that right shoulder together. The right toes are pointing forwards. And you can lower the back knee here if you want to, really sinking into those hips, keeping that spine nice and long. And if you want, you can tuck the back toes and float the back knee up. But we really want to think about that right knee and that right shoulder squeezing together. From here, you can have a little play, rocking forwards and backwards, sinking into those hips a little bit. You can even start to walk the hands out in front, or maybe coming down onto one forearm, or both forearms. Just gently getting into those hips just a little bit more, rocking forwards and backwards. Big breath in, and exhale. Now next, inhale, bringing our hands back underneath the shoulders. We're going to step that right foot all the way back to meet the left, finding high plank. Inhale, strong core. Exhale, we take a vinyasa, chaturanga, shift forwards first. Lower the knees down if you need to for that support. Take the elbows back. Strong core, chaturanga. And then flipping onto the tops of the feet, pressing the feet down into the mat to lift the legs, straighten the arms, find upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back. And then exhale, take the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Other side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, stepping the foot to the outside of the left hand, squeezing that knee and that shoulder together. And then again, you can have that back knee down and really start to work into those hips, rocking side to side. Or lifting the back knee up, whatever you prefer. Big long breaths in. Having a little play now, rocking forwards and backwards, walking the hands out. Just getting into all those little juicy parts in that outer hip. Whatever feels nice for you, you can come down on the forearms if that's available. Just focusing on that breath, making any little micro movements you might need. And then our next inhale, planting the hands back down under the shoulders. Stepping that left leg all the way back, finding high plank, strong core. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga, shift forwards, lowering down halfway, strong core. Inhale, upward facing dog on the tops of the feet, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, take the hips up and back, finding downward facing dog. From here, lower the knees down, untuck the toes, take our hips back towards our heels, find our child's pose. Give ourselves a little bit of a wiggle here. And then our next inhale, we're going to rock forwards, find our tabletop position. Now I'm going to turn to face this way. You may actually want to turn onto the side of your mat because we're going to take the knees out wide. So we can take one knee out wide and then take another knee out wide just a little bit. And slowly, slowly, we can start to just shift a little inch by inch, taking those knees a little bit wider, a little bit wider. We want to keep our shins parallel with one another and directly behind the knees. So those feet are in line with those knees. And just slowly taking the knees a little bit wider. You may need to come down to the forearms or having the support there in our hands. Just gently working into those hips. Quite a deep hip stretch here. Breathing here. Feeling those hips opening up. This is called frog pose. You've got those little frog legs behind you. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. And then if you're on the forearms, just coming back onto the hands. And then slowly, there's no graceful way to do this, but just edging very slowly, bringing the knees back in together. Coming back to that tabletop position once again. And then lowering the hips down. And we'll roll over onto the side of the hips to let those legs go out in front. Now, since we've worked quite a bit on opening up those hips, we're going to find our straddle fold once again. So we'll take those legs out wide to the corners of the mat or to the sides of the mat. And again, actively rotating those knees and those feet out wide so they're not rolling in. If they are rolling in, we can just bring those legs a little bit closer. And if it feels a little uncomfortable for you, you may need to place some pillows or a block underneath those knees. They don't necessarily need to be all the way straight out. And then wherever we are again, we inhale, lift the arms. And then exhale, take the hands all the way back behind, plant the fingertips behind, pressing the ground away to lift the chest, find space. And then slowly starting to bring that chest forwards. You can walk the hands a little bit closer towards us. Feeling those legs rotating outwards. And if we want, we can walk the hands out in front. Here, we'll take a big inhale. And then exhale, maybe inch those hands a little bit further out. Holding down a little bit more. Again, inhale where we are. Exhale, folding down just a bit deeper. One more breath, inhale. And exhale, folding. Next inhale, slowly walk the hands back up. Taking a hold of the backs of the knees. And again, one by one, pulling the knees in. So you're not straining anything here. Just gently bringing the knees together. Giving yourself a little squeeze. And then from here, again, facing the front, we'll roll down onto our backs. Taking ourselves into our back bend of bridge. So just checking the feet hip distance apart. You can tickle the back of the heels with the fingertips so they're not too close. And then we inhale, press through the feet, lift the hip bones up nice and high towards the ceiling. In pressing the backs of the arms down into the mat, lifting the hips, puffing the chest up. Inhale here, and exhale to stay. Just checking in, make sure your knees aren't falling apart. They're actively squeezing together. And again, big breath in, lift the hips a little higher. Stay as we exhale. This inhale, come up onto the toes. And then as we exhale, we roll down the spine nice and slowly. Once we get all the way onto our backs, just tick-tock those knees side to side. Nice and gently. And then letting the left leg go out long, bringing that right knee into the chest, squeeze it in. Inhale. And then exhale, guiding that knee over towards the left, finding this nice spinal twist. You can let the right arm go out long towards the side, encouraging that right shoulder down towards the mat. Really feeling this twist coming from the core. Big breath in, inhale. And big breath out, exhale. And again, inhaling. Exhale to stay. Our next inhale will slowly come back up through center. And then releasing that right leg out long as you bring that left knee into the chest. Give a little squeeze, even a little rock side to side. And then slowly guiding that knee over towards the right. Encouraging it down towards the mat. And if you want, you can take the left arm out wide. Maybe even the gaze can follow that hand. Just feeling that twist coming from the spine, wringing the core out. Inhale through the nose. Feeling the belly restricted as you do. Exhale, release into the twist. And again, inhale. And exhale. This time our next inhale, come up through center. Bringing both knees into the chest, giving yourself a little squeeze. And then letting both legs go out long, find our Shavasana. The feet can go to the corners of the mat. Arms down by the side, palms facing up. Either taking just our traditional Shavasana, or if you want a little bit of a hip opener as well, since we worked on the hips, you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out wide. You can take either option here. Wherever we are, we close our eyes. Letting go of the breath now. And just staying with this for just the last few minutes. We'll start to deepen the breath now. Wiggling the fingers and toes. Slowly waking the body back up. If the knees are out wide, just gently taking a hold of the backs of the thighs and just bringing the knees back up to center. And then everyone bringing both knees into the chest, squeeze it in, either rolling over onto your side, or you can roll straight up to a seated position, back to that cross-legged position we were in at the beginning. Eyes still closed, bring the palms together at the chest. Inhale here. And exhale.